Yeah,
That's an original Ryan George.
Bro, I'm not gonna hang up some other bums pictures in my studio.
Yo, this guy's crazy.
Come on, dog.
Easy. This is an original Ryan George.
If I didn't take
that's a $3 million picture.
If I didn't take it, it's not going on the wall, bro. What do you think this is? This is a sacred space, brother.
Are we recording?
Yeah.
Is that how we're gonna start
rolling.
the podcast?
Yeah.
All right, fine. We can just roll it like that. All right, welcome everybody. I guess you guys are already listening to the precursor to the conversation. If you're here, thank you so much. We appreciate you. Today we're going to be talking about, I don't know, we said like things we thought were healthy that are not healthy, and then kind of like our wellness stacks or...
Yeah, I think, yeah. Getting into like what we've done, what we've tried.
Yeah.
What we're currently doing.
Yes.
To operate at optimal levels. Right?
Yes.
Because like we both have busy lives. We're both doing a lot of things. So it's like, how do we stay on top of it all?
Yeah.
Like, what have we found that works?
What are the practices that enhance our performance?
Exactly.
I guess.
Yeah.
Or that have, well, for me, I guess I'll just kick it off. I'm going to talk about one thing that I've done in the last 3-4 years very consciously is like, how do I word this? Well, I've started with a NoFap journey like 3 years ago.
Oh, we're getting into it already.
Yeah, I'm just gonna go right
off
into
the jump. All right,
right off the jump, because this was something that like really shifted my understanding of myself, my discipline. It's something that has helped a lot of men that I've spoken to. Unfortunately, there's not a lot of research in the space, but anecdotal evidence for everyone I know that has practiced NoFap or semen retention for men.
There is a lot of it in ancient culture, and traditions,
but there's
especially like the Taoist and I think Buddhist as well, and it has roots from like way back. But like nowadays, you don't hear about this shit.
You don't hear about it, and surprisingly, there's no studies done on it. Like, because a lot of men will report increased focus, increased strength, just overall better, like more self-confidence. Just by not masturbating, and especially not consuming porn. So that for me was something huge. I kind of like, it's funny because you get exposed in the West, at least. Well, I did. I got exposed to pornography so young, and I can only imagine what that did to my brain. We grew up in a generation that like the internet was new. Our parents had no clue what was going on. It was happening too fast. Things were happening too fast.
No idea.
Right? Like it went from porn is only accessible in a store to everywhere all the time. And
well, I mean, computer. We didn't have phones back then.
Yeah.
But like you had to be like, you can get it digitally for the first time, which was mind blowing.
Yeah. Digitally right to your house for free.
Yeah.
That's the other thing. No barrier to entry. So when you're a kid, right? Like you don't have money to go buy a porno mag when you're 8 years old, when you're 9 years old, when you're 10 years old.
No, they're also not going to sell it to you.
They're also not going to sell it to
you. Maybe they will, but also then where are you going to keep it? Because if
it poses a lot of problems.
Find a hard copy. I mean, at least for us coming with our background, you're
getting beat.
Well, you're getting beat. You might get buried 6 feet. Be coming from both very religious backgrounds.
Yeah, that's not acceptable. That's very intolerable. That's a no-no.
Yeah.
But I think, a big part of it was getting exposed to it at such a young age and becoming addicted to it without even knowing I was addicted to it.
Yeah.
And then having to realize that I have an addiction that is giving me a lower quality of life. It's reducing my quality of life because I would have you're chasing dopamine in a very superficial fashion. It also made me not so interested in dating because I was satisfied. You know what I mean? Like you trick your brain. You trick your brain.
Yeah.
You trick your brain. When you watch porn and then you eventually ejaculate, it's like you just tricked your brain into thinking you had sex with a really hot girl. Right? But reality, you didn't. But our brain can be tricked. Like it's the same thing with cold exposure. You trick your brain.
Right.
You put yourself in a stressful situation.
Absolutely.
To simulate stress. And now you've trained your brain to respond to stress differently. Same thing goes for pornography. So a couple years back, I started hearing about NoFap. It was becoming more of a trend on the internet. And I was like, okay, let me give this a try. So, obviously it was never like right away, I'm going to do like fucking 3 months, 4 months, NoFap. It was like, I remember the very first time I noticed it was shifting my mindset and my perspective was I'd gone about 2 weeks and I started realizing like I was a lot more keen to keep my surroundings uncluttered. I was a lot more keen to like stay on task, stay focused. And a lot of guys just describe it as having superpowers. This is what a lot of guys will say to you, is because they go from such a unmotivated, deflated state to just in 2 weeks of ditching those bad habits. All of a sudden you have the motivation to do all the things that you didn't want to do 2 weeks ago. And you feel like it's crazy. It's really crazy, because I can't cite any science, because even
Huberman did talk about this. He has addressed this before, and it's kind of like the whole I think it's the serotonin dump, right? Okay. So like after you have that peak, you go into a slump.
Yeah.
Right. It's like the rest phase. So if you're just doing that all the time, you're gonna have no energy to do anything, because you're just like up and down.
Yeah.
Up and down. But every time you do it, and the more you do it, the lower and lower you go.
Yeah.
So you just end up
it's like a swing. Like you'll go up.
So you end up having no energy, no desire to do anything, because you're like, well, why?
Yeah.
What am I gonna do?
Yeah. And the pornography adds an even more complex layer to it, because it's simulating something that is like, if you're 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, like your brain is still developing, and 2, it's very impressionable, right? Like you're now training your brain to think that you're like a celebrity. You know what I mean? Like without doing any of the work.
It's not an accurate reflection of.
You're getting rewarded for not doing any of the work, essentially, is what I'm saying.
Well, that's it. Yeah, you're not putting in the work, so you're not like, it's not an accurate dopamine hit, right? So it's just like when you check your phone and you're constantly getting notifications or likes or comments, whatever. It's the same thing. You're triggering that dopamine, but you didn't do anything for it.
Yeah.
Opposed to spending time in nature, going camping, portaging, backcountry, where you're putting in a tremendous amount of effort just to do simple tasks, but it's so much more rewarding because you had to actually do something to earn it. Or like your meal at the end of the day.
Yeah.
You have to work for that meal. You have to build a fire. You have to, it's a different type of thing.
And another thing I want to point out is there was never any conversation about, like when we were growing up, about porn being bad, about masturbation being bad for men. That was never, ever.
I mean, anything, it was in the church.
Oh,
it's like if you
go to hell.
Yeah, you're going to hell. Like straight up.
Like, which is also horrible, because like the shame that you store.
Oh my God. It's like you touch your dick, going to hell.
Yeah.
You get your dick near a girl, she's gonna get pregnant, or your dick's gonna fall.
That's a whole different podcast. If you want to talk about that, that's a whole different podcast.
Yeah, that shit.
The shame that got baked into me, like that is something I'm still working on, quite frankly. That's something different. I'm still working on untangling and getting to the bottom too, because that on its own, like having the fact that, like,
we'll get into that on another podcast. That's how religion like played a role in our upbringing. And just like our upbringings coming from like first generation immigrants also, like that's
a whole podcast.
That changes you. That's a different.
That's a whole podcast. That's
we'll get into that later. But so for this,
what I'm saying is like, there was no like conversation, at least like from another male role model that would tell you, hey dude, like, don't watch porn. I never heard that till I was like in my mid-20s.
Well, and I think too, like our parents didn't know what it was because they weren't exposed to that either, coming from where they came from. They didn't have access. This wasn't a thing.
But they also wouldn't be able to explain why it's so horrible for
but because they didn't experience it. Like my parents came from a communist country.
Yeah.
You're just trying to survive. Yeah. You don't have time to be going to buy nudie mags and hang it. Like, that's not a thing.
Yeah.
So like I don't think had an understanding of what it was, how accessible, what the internet. Try explaining the internet to your parents, bro.
Yeah, they had no idea. That's what I mean. It's like it all happened so fast. They had no idea what was going on. There was no education online. Like you go online now, there's education about it. There's a lot of role models that will tell you.
Well, there's also science to back it up, and there's studies, and it's not just like some
conversations like this,
right?
Conversations like this, like people are going to listen to this conversation, and maybe they're going to draw on our experiences. Hopefully, some younger guy is going through the same thing right now,
right?
And is going to hear someone that maybe he's like, oh, I kind of want to be like this person, and they stop watching porn. Let me listen to why, because it was just like, whoa, okay, the fact that it was not like nobody said anything like it was wrong, so that you just fell deeper and deeper into it, and you get to the point where you're addicted. You don't know you're addicted. You're hooked, and now you got to untangle all that.
Yeah. Well, I think it's because it's just, as a society, it's made normal.
Yeah.
All this stuff is made, just like drinking, just like all these things, like you're advertised, like they use sex to advertise that. That's just a known thing.
Yeah.
And same with drinking. Like you watch commercials, you watch any ads, they're drinking to celebrate any and everything. Yeah. Watching a game, drinking.
Yeah.
Like celebrating a birthday, drinking.
Graduation.
Celebrating an anniversary, drinking.
Yeah.
Graduation, drinking. Everything, drinking.
Yeah.
Same with sex. It's sex sells. That's just
sex sells. And then, also, right? You know, I grew up in the hip hop generation.
I mean, watching music videos again.
Yeah.
You're just like, what?
I grew up on, I was just telling you, 50 Cent. I love 50 Cent. We grew up on 50 Cent. 50 Cent wasn't exactly the ideal role model for a young man at the time.
But it's like,
but you know, it's sex. It's sex. It's in front of you.
But I think here too, like in the Western world, we use it a lot more. It's
commoditized.
Like, it's monetized. In Europe and everywhere else, it's not a big deal. Like there's topless beaches everywhere, nude beaches everywhere. And it's just
yeah.
It's not like this thing that's hyper sexualized. Like the female body isn't like hyper sexualized like it is here in North America. It's just like out of control, man.
Yeah.
It's wild.
Yeah.
So
North America,
there's that too, right? So the environment we grew up in, what we were exposed to, what we're seeing on TV, on music videos, things like that. It's very different world.
Yeah.
Than what they're experiencing.
Yeah. So yeah, I got into that journey. I eventually completely stopped watching porn, which is great.
Yeah.
You just feel better. Your confidence is better. Your dating life is better.
Oh, 100%.
All that stuff just gets better because you're not poisoning your mind.
Yes.
And I hope if anyone's listening to this and they do have a porn addiction, to at least recognize that and try to work on it, because it's one of the hardest things to drop, because you don't feel like you're doing anything wrong.
Well, yeah.
You don't feel like there's any consequences, right?
So what would you say like
helped?
Well, no, but how would you classify when it's an addiction?
I'll tell very simple, like when you're just waiting, you want to be alone so that you can watch porn.
So like if you have the urge to watch porn whenever you're by yourself,
yeah,
that's when it's an addiction.
I feel like that's a good sign. Yeah. Or if you're doing it every single day and you have to do it every single day.
So if you have like
if you tell yourself,
if you have a compulsion that you have to like bust a nut, or like I can't,
and then you need to watch porn. You need to watch porn to bust a nut.
Interesting.
Yeah. Or if you're like I gotta, or if you say to yourself, today I'm not gonna watch porn, and you're not able to do that,
well, okay,
then you got a problem.
Well, I guess it was the same thing for like drinking and everything else, right? Like if you can't go a day without like, you know, or smoking a cigarette, maybe, you know,
maybe you should pump the brakes a little bit, examine what's going on.
But like that, I guess okay. So if you can't go a day without doing it, and that applies to anything.
Yeah, if you can literally think like, oh man, I don't remember the last time I went a day without busting a nut, you're in trouble.
That might be a problem.
you're in trouble.
All right. Okay. So
you're in a little bit of a hot water mess over here.
All right. So we've established that.
Yeah.
So that, okay. So think about that. Because
if you have not gone, this is perfect for a clip right now. If you can't remember the last time you went a day without busting a nut, you're in trouble. That's all I'm going to say on that. That's what I would say. Like, draw the line, ask yourself that question, and you're like, fuck, you know, I can't remember.
Yeah.
It's time to examine. It's time to think about how you're going to discipline yourself. It's time to think about how you're going to use that energy that you're expending in a better way.
You know what a good metric might be is look at your search history and do a ratio of the last day. How many of those searches were looking up girls on Instagram or you know, OnlyFans pages or whatever it is you're doing.
Let me talk about that. Let's
do that. Let's pull up your search history, and that'll tell you where you're
spending your time. Tell you a big thing that helped with like getting off the porn was customizing my algorithm. So I told you about this.
Yeah.
The not interested button.
Dude.
So
huge.
So I unfollowed all the pages that had asses. Gone. They all were there. I had to detox my Instagram. And then if the algorithm on my explore page would pull up something which I felt was like, you know, it's giving me that sensation, and all the men know what sensation I'm talking about. It's like a fucking feeling. It's like an electric shock from your loins to your head, right? If you start feeling that, not interested, not interested until the algorithm is not showing me any of that stuff. And that's honestly, I still practice that till now. Yeah. Because those things will trigger you unconsciously. Like you think it's not doing anything, but you scroll, you see like a really, really hot model. That's doing something to you. Whether or not you know it, that's doing something
at a subconscious level.
It's sending your train of thought in a different direction, right?
It can distract you for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
So that was one thing I did. The other thing I did was spending a lot of time with friends. A lot of time making sure that I was not alone, bro.
He can't be alone.
I was like, I can't be alone, especially when you're starting. Like these are tips for people who are starting and struggling with it.
Yeah.
And then I would consume content that reinforced the good habits. Like I would look up there's a lot of YouTube videos. There's a lot of other men who share their experiences, and that kind of motivated me to keep pushing myself deeper into the journey. And obviously noticing the positive benefits and acknowledging them.
Yeah.
So like, looking around and seeing that everything is tidy, looking around and knowing that my agenda was actually written out as being more organized, feeling that I actually have the confidence to just walk up to someone and strike up a conversation, girl or guy, I will say too. Like a lot of guys will talk about like, oh, I can pick up girls more easily. But I also felt like I just had the confidence to go up to anyone and shake their hand, introduce myself. Whereas before I would feel like I would feel like I would make up 1,000 excuses not to talk to someone.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And I'll say something. I think the confidence or what they're experiencing, what your experience is like the fact that because like people can tell when you're coming from a place of like desperation or you're just trying to get something. Right. So you have a different energy about you. So when you're not thinking about that, or that's the last thing on your mind, you have a different vibe to you. So it's a whole different energy you're bringing because it's like, I'm not here. Like, you know what I mean? I don't want anything from you.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to get anything. I'm just genuinely having a conversation, just like an actual human interaction, like a connection. And when you have that aura to you, and it's just like, yeah, I don't need nothing from you. Cause I mean, that's just what it is, right? Girls assume if you're talking to them, you're trying to pick up, you're trying to that. But like, that's just the culture, right? Especially like if it's at the gym or like whatever. It's
wherever
like,
it is.
Fuck. Like anyway, you approach a girl, she's already on the defense because it's like,
Yeah, because there's probably 100 other guys have tried.
Nah, I mean, unless you're like, Brad Pitt or like Bradley Cooper or whatever, then it's just like, whatever. We're not.
This podcast is not for you.
Yeah.
If Brad Pitt is listening to this, go listen to another podcast.
Yeah, right. But like, you know what I mean? Like for the most part, if you approach a girl, she's already got her guard up because it's like, what do you want from me? Because they're always constantly being harassed. You know what I mean? So like you have just this different aura to you because it's like, you ever notice when you're in a relationship, chicks just all of a sudden want you more because you're not giving them the time of day.
Yeah.
It's like, oh no, I'm good. I'm satisfied. I don't need you.
Exactly.
So it's like you have that aura to you, you have that presence, you have that energy about you. It's like, I don't want anything from you.
Yeah.
And that's like, that could be a mind fuck too.
Yeah.
Because
I will say when I'm on like my journeys, because I still practice from time to time.
No, 100%.
Right? Like I'll still have like, okay, you know what? I'm just going to go 3 weeks full on semen retention. I will say that it sounds woo woo, but the vibrations in my body are just different.
Bro, it's
like the way I approach everything is just different. Like even when I'm out in nature, I feel more in tune. I feel more satisfied with every moment and every breath. Yeah. And that's just, I can't tell you why. I can't tell you why. I'm just telling you what I've experienced and that it's been such a powerful practice for me.
Yeah.
And it's something I still practice and will continue to practice, I think, for the rest of my life, just because of how much it shifted me from that person who was, to be honest, I had like days where I could not get out of bed. Like I'm talking like in 2018, 2019. Like I had days, and objectively, if you looked at my life, people would want to trade places with me. But I was like I did not have the desire to go out there the way I do now.
Right.
Right. Like I would just like wake up and be like, I don't have it. Like I don't have that will to thrive, basically. Yeah. Whereas now it's like I have a burning inside of me. And I attribute a lot of that to getting away from porn, getting away from consistent masturbation, disciplining myself to not focus on that. Right. Being able, like if I tell a lot of people don't believe me, but I can go on the regular 3 weeks to a month. Good.
Oh, it's
you know what I mean?
It's doable. And it's like, I mean, fuck, last summer I did it.
And how did you feel?
So I was in a relationship. We broke up. I didn't date for 6 months. I didn't go on a date. I didn't talk. Like, I had no interest, zero. Because I was like, I need to get my shit in order. Like, you know, for me, I was like, okay, I have some things to process here. I got to figure out some shit. Because like, clearly that didn't go the way I thought it was going to go. So maybe I have some work to do. I have some things to like address. And for me, it was just like, I moved out on my own, new place. I had Ziggy with me. So it was just like me and Ziggy. It was like, I got this little tiny dog I got to take care of. So he was like my number one priority. And like every day I was so busy doing things, it just didn't cross my mind. Because I noticed if you don't focus on it or you don't give it any attention, you forget about it. It doesn't become this thing. It doesn't have any power or control over you because you're just living your life and you're getting fulfillment from human interactions. For me, I was taking Ziggy for walks like 3 times a day, just seeing him be happy, interact with other dogs, and like just talking to people and just like being out in the world.
Being present.
I spent so much more time outdoors last summer than I did the year prior. Yeah. Like I was outside every day for, you know, an extended period of time. And it was just like something I didn't even think about. Shit, like it worked so well for me. I manifested my perfect, like my dream girl.
That's
so
what I'm
like,
saying.
You know what I mean? Like
the manifestation.
Like,
Jesus
so
Christ,
like I was on this like journey and.
Can we get into that? Like when you're retaining, you can manifest, bro.
Bro, I'm telling you, it's just you're I think it's what it is you're more in alignment with your,
it's like magic.
Your purpose, like what you're supposed to be doing. Because all this other shit is distractions, whether it's porn, whether it's drinking, whether it's drugs, whatever it is you're doing to distract yourself. And it might not even be that. It could just be watching like YouTube videos incessantly. Like you're just constantly watching shit or TV, Netflix, whatever it is. If you're just spending hours and hours doing something that isn't actually benefiting you in any way, that's a problem.
Yeah.
And you're not going to feel fulfilled. You're just not.
Yes.
But like doing what you're supposed to be doing, working towards building a business, if that's what you want to do, spending time outdoors, you're getting, you know, vitamin D, you're being out in nature, you're getting all these things you need, you know, it's a different world. It's like I didn't know, like last summer was crazy. It was like my life shifted.
Was that your first time doing like a long retention?
A proper one? Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Like,
it's like, different, dude.
Because even like, I'll say like, if you're in a relationship and you're doing that, your girl will notice.
Yeah.
And she'll call you out on your shit.
Yeah.
Because if you're doing that, you're not going to have the same interest in her. And
every guy can relate.
And that's a problem because she should be getting your attention. And if you're giving it elsewhere, and, you know, I'm not going to go as far as saying it's like you're cheating on her by watching porn. That's, you know, let's not get crazy. But in a way, you kind of are. Because you're giving your attention and you're...
I mean, listen, I mean...
You know what I mean?
You?
Like,
aren't you?
In a way.
Aren't you?
Because you're fantasizing about being with another girl.
Yeah.
And we might... If people are going to be in the comments on this one. But honestly, like, in a way, like, it kind of is.
We should drop that as a clip. If you're in a relationship and you're watching porn incessantly, fantasizing about being with someone else, is that cheating? I think so. I mean, what's the difference between you? What if I told my girl I went and watched it in person, but I didn't do anything?
Right.
But I was in the room.
Right.
That's weird.
Come on, man.
That's weird.
It's almost like it's true. Like it's a weird thing. It's just
bizarre, bro.
But it can affect your relationship.
I think it affects you on a spiritual level.
It will affect. 100%.
It completely 100%. Blocks you from seeing things as they are.
Yes.
And that's what it is when you're in a state of spiritual crisis. You can't see things the way they are because you've blocked it with so much of this. I'm gonna say it, dark energy.
It is. It's like this haze, this fog. It's like you can't think clearly.
You can't think clearly. You're
making fucked up decisions.
You're numb.
You're just you're
numb. You can't feel. You can't feel. Like you can't connect with someone. 100%. That's why you can't even walk up to a girl and say hello because you don't even know what to feel.
Yeah. Fucked up.
you're just go into a panic mode and just turn into a shell, and you protect yourself by just not participating in the world.
Yeah.
That's not good.
No.
That's not good.
No.
That's not a good place to be. So like,
yeah, no, like, I mean, I can speak to it. It works wonders.
Every guy I've ever spoken to that has practiced this has shifted their life in one way or another. It might not be a permanent shift, but every single one who has tried it has told me, dude, 2 weeks, by the second week, I'm a different person.
And I will say this, it will also deepen your connection with your partner if it's not always about getting off. If your intimate connections are about connecting from a loving way, like you're not trying to get anything in return, you're just connecting to connect, that's a different fucking world. I promise you've never connected with your partner or a girl, whoever, deeper than you will if you're not trying to get something out of the exchange.
Yeah.
If you're going into it with just
like I need
the
to get
pure
off.
intent, well, yeah, the intention of I'm going to get off and I just want to get.
Then as soon as you get off, you're
that's it. There's nothing there. It's like you have an agenda, and it's like I just need to get from here to here as fast as possible, or whatever it is, and then nobody's satisfied. Nobody's, because it's just like you're rushing through what should be a very beautiful, intimate process. It's the deepest form of connection you can have with someone. And if you go into it with no agenda and you're just like, I'm just going to love this person regardless of, if whatever the outcome is,
I don't need anything.
Dude, mind blowing. It's a game changer.
Game changer. You know what we should do? We should get like a sex therapist on.
Let's do it.
I'm down. I would love to talk to like a sex therapist. I'd love to just know, like, they must have like crazy stories. They must have crazy stories.
Of course. But like, I think there's a lot to explore here. And I think this isn't
sex
something
is
that gets
such a fucking integral part of the human existence, because everybody can remember the first time that they were like turned on. Yeah. And how much that shifted it. Like, because you go from a child where you're just playing, and then all of a sudden you're getting turned on by stuff. Bro. And it's like, it's such a like, it just drives this type of hunger inside of you. Like, I know for men at least, like,
well, bro, it's not even like you're getting turned on by stuff. You just can't even control it.
You can't control it. Oh, dude.
Bro, like you're in math class in grade 3, just popping boners. Like, what the fuck I didn't know equations. Am I into this?
Bro,
you don't understand what's happening. Your body's just like doing its own thing.
Nobody,
like, bro, what the
I don't care what anyone says. I don't know. Nobody is hornier than a boy from 12 to like 18.
Bro,
I don't think so.
It's not normal. It's not normal. It's not fair.
No, it's like crazy, dude. It's like it's during that time age, like literally, like it was like Fast and Furious. Like my mind was always racing. I feel like if I look back on it, it's like my mind was always racing, and it was just like obsessed.
Well, I think it with the lack of education, the lack of outlet. You don't know what's going on. Your parents aren't.
You're like 12, 13.
They're not explaining anything to you because.
But for us, religious backgrounds, my parents did not explain anything, bro.
Well, it was anything. Well, yeah. But it's just it doesn't get addressed, and like you have sex ed, which is the most useless education you ever receive in school because it doesn't actually teach you anything.
Other than the parts of the vagina, which I don't remember.
Well, not even that. It's just like what
do I need to know that for, anyways?
It's you're learning anatomy. You know what I mean? And it's just like, okay, cool, great, but like, tell me about what's actually going on a hormonal level. Yeah. What's my body actually going through? What's actually happening? Why do I think like this? Why am I feeling like this?
How do I cope?
How do I deal with this? What's an outlet? Like, what's a alternative? Like, what? Like, you're not given any information. So what are you supposed to do with that? You don't know.
Yeah. It's like,
you know what I mean?
Dude, it's like
wild.
Yeah. That age, I just think about it. It was like crazy. Like, because honestly, I would get turned on by anything. From 12 to 18, dude, it could be like a gust of wind, like, and all of a sudden your mind has gone off racing,
this guy.
But Oh,
it's different.
Me?
No, of course.
You're telling me that wasn't,
bro. It is. It's a fuck.
It's a fucked up age, dude.
You don't know. Yeah, it's
you're getting
wild west.
You're getting like a testosterone dump, like a heavy testosterone just dump. You're in high school. Girls are developing right in front of you. You have no idea, dude. You have no idea what's happening. And you're in it so deep that even if you get advice, like you can't even take it in. You know what I mean?
You're lost in the sauce, bro.
You're lost in the sauce, dude. You're 100% lost in the sauce.
All right. Okay.
So that was
we've addressed
that.
Let's
okay, what do you want to what about you?
Okay. So something you mentioned on episode 1 that I wanted to get a little more background on and dive deeper into was that you were journaling during the pandemic. Now, if we go back 5 years, even journaling was always considered this like feminine thing. Where like,
what's that about?
Writing your feelings down, like
you got
expressing yourself. You got a diary, right? Like, especially like as a guy, it was always looked at something that was like very feminine, very like you're in your feels. Like, what's wrong with you? Toughen up. Like, why do you need to express yourself? That's stupid. So that was like that. That's what it was like.
What was that about though?
Dude, I don't know, man.
Where did that come from?
Stupid. It's stupid.
Because I literally remember like being a kid. It was like, oh, you got a diary,
right? Because guys, it wasn't. Girls had diaries and boys had video games and action figures and shit. Like it was, you weren't taught to like do that. It just wasn't a thing.
It's just such a weird thing not to encourage. Such a weird thing,
right? Like you would think you would want to encourage you to be able to like write your thoughts out and your feelings. Like
imagine in school they were like every morning, everyone, okay, bust out your journal, just write 2 or 3 sentences.
Right. What are you grateful for? What do you like?
Whatever.
You know, anything.
You could doodle.
Anything. Free writing. Right.
You could doodle, whatever you want.
What I want to know is what got you into journaling and what kind of style of journaling do you do? Is it a free write? Is it a journal with prompts? Is it just like a dump of thoughts and ideas? Like what exactly is that look like for you?
So why did I start? I can't remember. I got some motivation online, like something just about the benefits of writing out feelings, especially as a guy, you're not so much expressing your feelings outwardly all the time. So I felt like it kind of made sense for me to just write out what I was feeling at times.
Okay.
So I started like that, and it's never been a super like right now I'm a lot more consistent than before, but even now it's not daily. It'll be like 3-4 times a week, just depending on how my morning is going, even how I'm feeling. Like even if I'm feeling like journaling, I'll let that play a role. But in the beginning, it was just like I'll write like 2 sentences, 2 or 3 sentences, or just words that I'm feeling, random words. Like I told you, like I had a page that was just I kept writing anxiety over and over again, and it felt good after I was done writing it 1,000 times. But like, it also is good for me to look back on it and be like, holy fuck, I was going through it. Like,
well, that's it, right? It's like you're leaving messages to yourself, kind of in a way, and it's something to reflect on. So I wanted to touch on that and see.
Yeah, so it was like short form, very sporadic when I started. Like, okay, today I'll journal. Oh, I haven't journaled in a while. Let me journal. And then so last year is when I was like, okay, I want to develop this habit. I read the book Atomic Habits.
Okay.
Which one of the main tenets of is like just do it, but do it for like a minute a day or whatever. Set like a really, really low bar for yourself and just stick to that. So I was like, okay, I'm going to give that a shot. I got the 5-minute journal. I invested in a 5-minute journal. Shout out to Ernesto. He's the one Ernesto
put you onto that.
Yeah, because every day I would wake up and he would have his 5-minute journal posted.
Okay.
And I was like, okay. And so I shout out to Ernesto for that. He got me fired up to get that going. And the 5-minute journal itself has like prompts and commitments inside of it too. Like, hey, once you get to day 15, you get to reward yourself or whatever. Yeah. So I started doing that daily. And then I got to a point where I was like, this is kind of getting redundant. And I got a free flow journal, which is what I use now. And that is literally free flow. I'll wake up in the morning, I'll make my supplements, and I'll sit down with my journal. And it could be anything. Like yesterday, I wrote a bunch of, so Jordan Peterson recommends this, is like any type of childhood trauma you have, write it out. And if you're feeling something, it means you haven't gotten over it.
Interesting.
If you're still feeling like,
so if it like
why did my dad do that to me, and you still have that anger inside of you, you still need to work on that part of you, right?
Hasn't been addressed yet.
Yeah. You haven't fixed that issue. So the other day, that's what I was doing. I was like, okay, I'm going to go back. I'm going to just think about times I was hurt as a kid, and I'm going to write it out, how I remember it and what I felt. And that was my practice for the day. The day before that, it was about work, just writing about work, how my day was at work the day before and how I want my day to go. Sometimes I just open it and I don't feel like writing anything, and I just write, I'm going to have an awesome day. You know what I mean?
I love that.
You know, so that's kind of how my practice is now. And
so it evolved over time.
Yeah, of course.
So you started with the prompts, and then
the prompts are huge. I tell people, they're like, this is what I tell people. It's like training wheels if you want to get into a journaling practice.
Yeah.
Invest in a 5-minute journal.
Yeah.
That's like your training wheels. If you could stick to that for a few months, get yourself a free flow, and that's the real game.
Because it helps establish the habit
yes.
of writing and getting used to writing, and it makes you think about things like, it's also a great gratitude practice, right?
Oh, yeah.
Because like,
I love the prompts like, what did you learn today? I love that one because that makes you be, sometimes I'll sit there and I don't know how to fill that out, and I'm like, oh man, I was on autopilot today. Dude.
Right.
You know
it makes you question things.
Yeah.
And it's nice because you're doing it day and night if you're doing it properly.
Yeah. So you start your day with the 3 gratitude prompts, and then
3 gratitude. What would make today great?
Yes.
And then a daily affirmation.
Yeah.
And then in the evening before bed, you put 3 highlights of the day.
And what did you learn?
And then what'd you learn?
Yeah.
And then at the top of each page is usually like a quote, or it'll be
like a challenge, a weekly challenge. Yeah.
Like,
say thank you to someone.
Pay a random stranger a compliment or something like that, or connect with someone you haven't talked to in a while.
Yeah. Express gratitude. I love that one.
There's a lot of like interesting things in there. So funny story about that. Autumn's big on the 5-minute journal, and she has like, the hard copy, like the nice ones. And I pull out this paperback 5-minute. I'm like, I got that. I got the 5-minute journal. And she's like, the fuck is that? I'm like, it's a 5-minute journal. She's like, no. She's like, where'd you get that? I was like, Amazon. It was cheaper.
Yeah.
She's like, that's a knockoff. And then I opened it to compare it. I was like, oh, I got swindled.
You got a knockoff 5-minute journal? But I mean, what's the difference?
It's trash.
Come on.
It's trash.
What do you mean by that?
The prompts are trash. Everything is just completely different. So if you're going to invest in it, invest in the proper one.
Yeah, it's like $70, which is, it's well worth it. 70.
70?
I think I got mine for 70
like $20.
The 5-minute journal?
Yeah, it's not that expensive.
I think I got mine for like 70 bones, bro.
Bro, what the kind of edition you getting?
I don't know.
No, they're not that much. I was just being cheap.
How much
I didn't know any better.
First one for?
Amazon was like $12.
Ah.
Yeah, so like I got that, and it was just, I didn't realize I had a knockoff. So like we're doing the 5-minute journal. She's like, what are you writing it? And I was like, it's my 5-minute journal. It was just trash. So if you're gonna get it, get the proper one.
4-minute journal.
I forget the company.
It's
intelligent
design or something.
Intelligent design. That's what it is. Okay, so they make really cool ones. You'll see them. Go to Indigo. You can get them on Amazon.
Yeah, definitely.
But they're hardcover.
Definitely recommend.
They come in different colors. Definitely recommend that if you're going to get into journaling. It was a big thing for me as well. It's something I still do every day. It's part of Autumn and I's morning routine. And it's just fantastic. It's like, I love the gratitude practice of it. And what did I learn? Because every day, like you said, if you get to that, you're like, oh man, I didn't learn anything.
Fuck, I didn't learn anything. Or I wasn't paying it. It's not that you didn't learn anything. You were paying attention.
Right. Where was I? Was I busy being busy?
Yeah.
Was I not being present today? Was I not? Because you should always be learning something. Like every day, you should be getting better.
It's not that hard to learn something every day. Like, think about it. It's not. Like, it could be, sometimes it's just was like yesterday I put together a podium stand. I've never done that before. That's learning. I did yesterday. So that's what it's more so like, you definitely learned something, but you weren't paying attention, which is actually the problem. Is if you're going through the whole day and you get to one question, like, tell me one thing you learned today, and you're like, I don't know. It's like when your parents ask you as a kid, what'd you do in school today? Nothing. It's like, come on, yo.
Bro, come on. Yeah. So it's like, yeah, okay. All right. So more of a free flow for you now. which I like. Autumn is trying to introduce that into our routine as well, as like a free write, where you just kind of set a timer for 10 minutes, put on some vibey music or just no music, or sit outside even and just write. That for me is hard.
Just writing, eh? But
my brain doesn't work like that. So like if I sit down to write something,
you should just dump anything, bro.
But here's the thing though. I can't. Like I have this weird thing where like if I'm writing something, I need to be writing something. Like I can't just scribble and
I'm the king of scribble and
shit
doodle,
on
bro.
paper. So like because it's
which
just
is
the
crazy
way
to
I
me
work.
Because you're a creative.
I know, but the way I work, and I had a background in music and all that stuff. It's like just like I had friends that could freestyle rap, phenomenal
Can't
freestyle rappers. Couldn't write a song to save their life because it's a different style. For me, I need to write. Like I need to like have a theme, have something, and then write around.
What if you just
theme.
doodle?
Doodling, I doodle all day, but like I need to have like a concept or an idea, and then I can put it down. If I have nothing to write, tumbleweeds, bro.
Yeah.
It's weird. I can't just put a pen down and write shit. Like I have to have an idea or something, a topic, journals. Or be like, okay, what do I see? Let me write about that. And the way my brain works again, which is it's like I'm writing like song verses, like bars. And it's like I write in like rhyming couplets and shit. And I'm just like, what's wrong with me?
What do you mean? That's sick. You should just do that, though.
I know, but it's just like I feel like I'm doing it wrong. I'm like, I'm not doing this right.
Dude, if you read my journal, you'd be like, this guy's clinically insane. Like I'm jumping from one topic. It's like whatever pops into my head, I just write it.
Yeah. So I think that's something I like, and it's something I should maybe work on because it's clearly there's a blockage there.
Just let yourself write
or something, right? Because
dude.
Perfectionist. So I grew up as a perfectionist. That was
perfection
is
a
part of my upbringing. And it's like, if it's not going to be perfect, don't do it. So like, even if I start writing a line and I choose a word instead of another word, I'm like, I fucked it up. So it's like, I got to scratch it out and replace it. Yeah, no, I know. It's
you got to work on that. That's not good.
Listen.
Don't let perfection be the enemy of the good.
Well, there's a quote I like to remind myself of I heard it from a YouTuber who I think got it from his sister. Who the fuck knows where it originated from? Bro. But it's done is better than perfect. Because like,
big facts,
even with video editing and anything, it's like
you can always tweak.
It's song producing, everything. It's like there has to it's never going to be. First of all, perfect doesn't exist because it's subjective.
There's no such thing as perfection. Everything can always be improved upon.
And if it's perfect to me, I might show you, and you'd be like,
change this.
That's trash. Yeah. You know what I mean? So it's like it's very subjective. So like that's something like you have to like train yourself out. It's something I'm still working on. Like I've gotten a lot better at it, but it's just something like I noticed for me, free writing is so challenging because like I can't just write.
Yeah.
That's why the 5-minute journal for me, having the prompts and it telling me what to write, fantastic.
Yeah.
That's how I operate. It's like, oh, you do this? Okay.
Yeah.
I can do that.
Yeah. No, the 5-minute journal is fantastic. I would say.
Amazing.
I would like anybody that's like, oh, I'm curious about journaling, just buy it.
Just get it.
Just buy it. Even if you do it for 2 weeks, you're gonna notice a difference in your life.
Absolutely.
So it's also gonna be like it's something to incorporate into your morning routine and evening routine because you need to create that space in the start of your day and the end of your day to decompress and to reflect.
Right. Ideally without your phone.
No, 100% without your phone. That's huge. That's huge. Big part of the morning routine. Leave your phone on the charger. Get up, walk away from it.
That's it. Yeah.
If you don't pick it up, you're gonna be able to fucking make it through the day.
It's true. Like, how are you starting your day? What are you taking in? And
if you grab your phone first thing, I've noticed at least if I grab my phone first thing, it's so much harder for me to put it down.
Well, not only that, like depending on what you see, it can completely affect your perception of and your mood for the day, right? If you read some news article right off the jump about something that gets you heated, now you got this weird energy about you and the day just started, man. Like
you haven't even spoken to anyone yet.
Right. That's what I mean. You're getting triggered by your phone.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It makes no sense. So like that's a huge part. Don't touch your phone for the first hour of the day and see what happens. See what happens.
Yeah.
Same at nighttime.
And then try it at night.
Put it away an hour before you go to bed and just take that time to be with yourself. So like, let's get into that then. Morning and evening routines.
All right. I'll tell you right off the bat, my evening routine is not there yet. I don't have an evening routine yet.
Okay. I
have a morning routine. Morning routine, like I said, phone stays on the charge, brush your teeth, make your bed, that kind of stuff.
Yep.
I have my yoga blocks always set up. I make my supplement shake. I go sit on the yoga blocks, opens up my hips nice. And then I'll roll my feet. I got my red band. I'll do my rotator cuffs. Like it's just gentle movement to start the day as I'm drinking my supplements. Then I'll go over and I'll journal. Once I finish journaling, it's time to hit my workout. So it's either hot yoga or a park workout. Pretty much every day. I don't really take any days off. It's rare for me to take a day where I'm not doing anything. Once I get back from my workout, I'm like into my day. But at that point, it's like I'll have a meal and then shower, off to work. Then my evening routine, it's getting a little bit better in the last month, I would say. I've been trying to I put my phone on do not disturb by like 9, plug it into the charge and leave it. And then I try to get some stretching in. I don't always stretch. And then I'm in bed by like 9:30, to be honest. 9:30, 10 o'clock, I'm in my bed. I'm not asleep, but I'm in my bed.
Damn.
Yeah.
Okay.
I try to get into my bed at the same time every single day.
Interesting.
Because I have this thing where it's like, what's the point? Like after 9:30, 10 o'clock, like what am I actually doing up? Like
right.
I'm really not doing anything. I'm wasting time.
I hear you on that.
Yeah.
I hear on that. I would just make time for stretching then. Like maybe push that bedtime a little bit
bit back, and then
but like give yourself time to like connect with your body. Because I've noticed again for me, and Autumn's great about this. She like prints out fucking schedules and puts them everywhere with like little boxes you can check off. Like if you did all the things.
I need that.
She's very organized. So now there's one like in the living room where we do our breath work and everything. And it's like, all right, we have like everything outlined. It's like, all right. Because she gets up at 5 to go to the gym. She has to leave at 5:30 to get to the 6 a.m. class. And because she walks there. That's part of her getting her 10,000 steps. Going there and back, she gets 5,000 steps. Yeah. So she's like, all right, I'm already halfway done. And the day hasn't even started.
It's
incredible.
7 o'clock.
So like usually if she's doing that, I'll get up around like 5:36 because I'm just doing like a home workout, usually functional strength and conditioning. And then I'll mix in some stretching. And then by the time she gets home at 7, we'll do abs together. And then it's breath work. We started incorporating some like meditations. We're still trying to find ones that resonate with us because there's a lot of whack shit out there. So you got to find stuff that actually works with you. Yeah. And you vibe with. So we're still figuring that out. And then we've been trying to incorporate the free writing, and then we'll do journaling. And then at that point, your day's already off to like a great start. And then we'll do like a visualization practice where you go through all the things you have. We'll talk about what we have on our schedules for the day. And then we'll sit there and visualize what it feels like to be on the other side of it. So like if I have a meeting today, I'll just sit there and think about what it feels like to be on the other side of that meeting with the result I want.
You mean
so like what that feels like?
Like once you're done, like after your meeting.
Yeah. So like what it feels like to have had that meeting, and I feel like, do I feel good about it? Do I feel bad? Like, did it go the way I wanted? Like just kind of feel what it's like to be on the other side of it. Because in that way you're tricking your brain into thinking you're going to have a great meeting because you feel like you already had that meeting. So it's just a weird way of tricking yourself into thinking you're going to have the best possible outcome. And then that way you go into every situation thinking you're going to have the best outcome. So you do, right? It's a weird thing, but that's been really impactful as well for us, is like visualizing being on the other side of whatever task we have to get done. Because then when you're going through them, you just feel like it's already done and you're not wasting energy. Oh man, like, is this meeting going to be good? Oh, what's the energy going to be like? What are they like? You're already thinking it's going to be amazing. So it will, because why wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Because we're very good at constructing false narratives in our heads. So
worrying about something that hasn't even happened yet.
That's
like,
what I mean. That's what I mean. So
what
like,
are you doing,
if
bro?
you can give yourself that time to think, oh, it's going to be amazing and it's going to go great, then you're going into it thinking that already. So you're not thinking any negative. You're not making room for the negativity to creep in. So starting your day in that way is absolutely huge. To that effect, same thing for the evening routine. Autumn and I started incorporating stretching because I found it makes a significant difference. She's also partnered with Stretch Lab, so they give her homework for hip mobility and being able to open up that because they noticed she was tight through there. So it's like I think like a 2-week program, and you follow the prompts every night. It's a new video focusing on a different part that you need to open up and stretch. So we incorporate that into the stretching, and the same thing, phones away like an hour before bed. And it gives us that time to check in with our bodies. We do a little bit of light therapy, red light therapy with the cala light as well. We're still new to that.
How are you feeling with I was going to ask you.
The red light, like Ron was saying, he loves doing it before bed because it helps him sleep better. I sleep pretty great already, so I haven't really noticed.
How quickly do you fall asleep?
Fast.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like
that's a sign of a healthy sleep schedule. I will say that. If you're struggling to go to sleep, there's something off. And for me, the tricks were always the putting away the phone because the white light disrupts your melatonin production, and going to sleep and waking up at the same time every day.
Having a routine is huge. We're creatures of habit, even with the eating schedules. So that's something else I've noticed is if I like dial in my eating habits, it's so much better for my body because everything's functioning. It's almost like clockwork. I can predict when everything's going to happen based on when I'm eating.
Yeah.
And I think getting that dialed in as well has been a huge thing. It's just like eating around the same time every day, because then my body's not questioning or wondering when things are going to happen. And like I do practice intermittent fasting, not to the extent I used to. I don't do it 7 days a week like I used to. Now it's a lot more, I'd say 5 out of 7 days. I don't really do it on weekends. But it gives my body a chance to kind of know what to expect. So I'm getting hungry at the same times every day. Like, I know, like my body's like, oh, okay, it's time for food now. I eat and then I go about my business. But like, it's not like something I'm thinking about. And meal prepping as well is a huge hack to just not wasting energy thinking about what you're going to eat.
What do they call it? They call it decision fatigue.
No, that's 100% it.
Decision
laying out your things the night before. So just like we talked about with the 100-day hydro, is having your dip kit ready. So it's one less thing to worry about to get to the water. Like you just getting to the water is the thing. You have to get there.
Yeah.
So I noticed for me laying out, even this morning, I knew we were going to go work out before we came to the studio to record. I laid out my clothes for working out and for what I was going to wear after for the rest of the day.
Yeah.
And just having that ready, I get up, I get dressed, and I'm out the door. I'm not wasting time. I'm not bothering Autumn. You're not thinking. No, this is. I got my stuff. I grab and I go.
Yeah.
It's just there's nothing holding me up.
Yeah.
I even did my journal before I left because I was like, I have some time.
Removing resistance.
That's it. Eliminating as much resistance as possible, so you don't have decision fatigue and you're not expending energy in places that you don't need to be.
Yeah.
It frees you up to focus on the things that actually matter. Right.
Yeah.
Because there's a thing. It's like being busy.
Yeah.
You're just busy.
Doing, like, I don't even know what, a lot of times you don't know what you're doing.
No. And even that, like to-do list, for instance, like I used to write like a mile-long to-do list, and just looking at it would stress me out because I was like, when am I going to get this done? Like, this is impossible. Like it, and you would feel like a piece of shit if you only got like 3 things done and you still had 10 things on the list. So instead of a to-do list, I make a priority list. It's like, okay, what's the most important thing I need to get done today? Cool. And after that, what else? If I get to these, fantastic. But like, what's the one thing I need to get done today? And I focus on that. And I do that first until it's done. And then I move on to whatever else I need to get done. Because I know, okay, I gave this the time and attention it needed. and I can move on because I know it's done. I dealt with it.
Yeah.
And then you're not thinking about it, because if you start something and then you start and stop something, you go do something else and you come back to it, or let me multitask. It's not a thing. You can't focus on different things at the same time.
No.
So you just end up wasting more time because you're not starting and finishing something. You're starting and then getting distracted, going here, doing that. Oh, let me come back to that thing. You don't have the same focus. You're not giving it the same attention.
Yeah.
So
and the morning and evening routine are like,
yeah,
they anchor you. Because if you build those two practices, the rest of the day kind of falls in line.
100%.
I got to work on my evening routine. I think I need to incorporate more breath work at both beginning and end of the day.
It can be a great way to fall asleep if you have trouble sleeping. Like doing like
100%.
A breath work is a great way to relax your body and really check in with yourself. That's a great way. Sometimes we'll do that. We'll just put on like a bedtime like breathwork track and just like do that. And you just like, for me, I'm usually asleep before the breath work even finishes.
Yeah, I fall asleep quick. I used to not fall asleep quick.
Also, if you're not working out and you're not expending enough energy during the day, at night, you're just going to have all this pent up energy. It's like, I noticed that with Ziggy, even if I wasn't taking him for like 2 30-minute to an hour long walks a day, at the end of the night, he was just a lunatic.
Yeah.
He's like, bro, I got energy. I got to get this out.
Yeah.
And even still, sometimes I'll take him for, long walks, and I would still have to play with him for like a half hour to like get him tired.
You got to run the battery down.
He's got energy, man. You're the same way. If you're just going to bed supercharged and you didn't expend any energy.
Yeah. You ate sugar all day and then you're laying in bed and wondering, the amount of people that tell me I have insomnia, I'm like,
bruh, come on.
Dude, sleep is the most natural. It's one of the most natural functions of the body. Like, if you're tired, your body will shut off.
That's it.
We've all been so tired that we've passed out.
Bro, but that's the other thing. Waking up at 5 a.m., by the time 9 p.m. rolls around,
you're tired.
You're tired.
Yeah.
There's no way around it because you've been up.
Yeah.
You've expended energy. You're doing shit. There's no way you're not tired. Like I challenge anybody. Start waking up at 5 a.m. Do it for a week. And you tell me if you're not tired by 9 p.m.
Yeah.
There's no way you're going to be hanging out till midnight on your phone. You're going to pass out with the phone in your hand.
Yes.
And it's going to hit you in the face because you're going to be sitting in bed scrolling and you're going to drop it on your face. I've been there because you're going to be exhausted.
Yeah. If you're getting up at, maybe we should do that as a challenge. We're already getting up at 5.
The 5 a.m. challenge. No, but you know what? It can be something that we do. And it's like,
but actually properly document it.
Because like even me, like sometimes I don't get up at 5. Yeah. I'll be honest. Autumn gets up at 5 and she's like, you getting up? I'm like, nah. I'm gonna hit snooze because I got my alarm set for like 5:30, 5:45. Because like if I'm not working out that day, I'm like, I don't need that much time in my morning routine. I know how long my stretching takes. I know how long, my things take, and we do everything else together. So it's like, I'm just waiting for her to get back from the gym basically.
Yeah.
So I got to be better about that and like filling my morning with something that fills my cup.
Exactly.
Whether that is, some creative exercises or something that like stimulates me, or like, because they say in the first like couple hours when you wake up, you are the most creative and more in tune because you're more in that.
You're in a flow state.
Well, you're in a different brain. Is it alpha? Not alpha.
Yeah, the brain waves. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Theta. It might be a theta
wave.
I don't know. Something.
Different frequencies, different sounds.
Exactly. Because you're coming out of that, like that sleep, like the dream realm. So you're still kind of in it. Like you're awake, but you're, you know what I mean? You're still kind of in there because you haven't started doing shit. As soon as you switch over to doing shit, it's just like, all right, you're in a different energy.
Yeah.
So if you can like get some creative things done first thing in the morning, it makes a huge difference.
Yeah. And that's why I do my journaling in the morning, because my mind is like, you're coming out off a dream, or like, you never know. Like your mind is just so different in those first couple of hours.
Another thing, I keep a notepad and a pen.
You write your dreams down?
On my nightstand. Yeah.
I
have like a wild dream, I'll write it down.
I should start doing that because sometimes
I'm telling you, you get downloads in your dreams.
100%. That's your subconscious.
So many people do this. Like high level people do this because they like.
Because why wouldn't you?
It's when you're the most out of your own way when you're dreaming.
Yeah,
you're thinking, shut off.
Your brain is thinking about the things that are actually on your mind that are buried, right?
That's it. And who knows, right? Like sometimes it's the most random thing ever and you might not think anything of it, but it might manifest itself in a way that makes sense later.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh shit, I had it. Whoa. And it's like kind of like that.
And you actually have the evidence,
right?
You actually have the evidence because you wrote it down. Because the number of times the number of times I'll be sitting somewhere, I'll be like, this has happened before.
Exactly.
And it might have been a dream, but I never wrote it down. But
you
even that is a trip.
And you know, like,
yo,
I know how this is going to play out. I've been here. And it's the weirdest thing. Cause you're just like, is anyone else? Like, did they know what's about to happen?
No, it's so weird.
You know,
like when you're sitting in a room and you're like, this has happened before.
But they say that's what like deja vu is. It's like kind of like you experience it in your dream life and then it's just manifesting itself in reality, which is crazy to think.
It's such a weird.
Yeah, it's such a weird thing. Bro,
I hope if we could find an expert on deja vu, that would be a very interesting conversation.
Yeah. Let's put it out there and let's look for someone. I don't know if that's a thing, but if it is
there an expert on deja vu out there?
That would be
I would love to talk to an expert on deja vu because it's one of those feelings that make you feel like everything is fake.
Right. Well, it could be even someone who's like a dream expert or like a sleep expert or, lucid dreaming, for instance. Like that's a whole nother thing where you can control your dream. So in your dream worlds, you can learn things, which is crazy. Another thing that I've incorporated, not as much as I'd like, but the times I have done it, it's been really impactful. So my friend Julia, shout out to Julia. She's got her own podcast, Bloomheart podcast. I know her from the crypto world. And she does these things called vibe checks, which is like leaving a voice note to yourself or a video recording of yourself when you're just out and about doing something. So it's like a way to check in with yourself and see where you were at that moment in time. So like you can kind of see, okay, like 6 months ago, I was here talking about this. I was feeling this way. And then compare it to where you are now or what that looks like. And the only time I've ever done that has been super impactful because I remember like I watched it back and I was saying stuff like things to myself that I'm now doing and are resonating with me. It's like, oh shit, like I started doing it. Like I'm doing those things, which is crazy. Cause like
you got to give yourself like those little kind of like boosts.
No, and that's it.
Those little, oh, okay, I'm doing it. Like it's happening. It's actually happening. Man.
Like I found a journal entry from 3 years ago saying how much money I want to make, where I want to be, what I want to be doing. And it's all happening.
Yeah.
And I was like, and of all the changes I needed to make. I don't even remember making that journal entry, bro.
Of course you don't.
But it was just in a random notebook I picked up and I was like, oh shit.
Gems.
Like I planted these seeds 3 years ago.
Wow.
And now it's coming actually it was 2 years ago. Sorry. Like it's coming full circle.
Yeah.
I'm like, this is crazy.
Yeah.
So like going back and like having those little like kind of reminders and like kind of messages to yourself is so impactful. So impactful. And like, I know it sounds like weird to people because like, well, it's weird to record a selfie video of yourself.
Yeah. It's uncomfortable
to yourself. Cause it's like, if you're not used to sitting in front of a camera and doing like, I do this
super uncomfortable.
I'm a video producer. I'm used to being in front of a camera. It's whatever. But like to just do, even for me, it was weird talking to my phone. I was like, this is weird. But like I saw Julia doing it when we were on a work trip in Austin. I'm like, what are you doing? I thought she was filming like an Instagram story or something. And I'm like, because that's my whole job is to like create the vlogs and do the video production for the crypto company. So like, I was like, what is that for? Like, are we using that? Like, what are we doing? Because I wasn't filming. I'm like, what are we documenting right now?
Yeah.
And she's like, oh no, this is just for me. I was like, what do you mean just for you? Yeah. That's what she was like. She put me onto this whole vibe check thing. She's like, it's just a vibe check. I just like to do this every now and then to like check in with myself. And I was like, this is wild. So the first time I did it was that night in Austin in my hotel room.
Nice.
And it was just.
I might start doing that. What's his name? The doctor. God damn it! Why is his name slipping my mind right now? He's an endurance doctor. Man, that's shitty. I can't remember his name. But he shared this really powerful practice that he has. His therapist put him onto it, which was to help with negative self-talk. He's like, anytime that you felt like this negative self-talk is coming up in your mind, take out your phone and record a message that you would record to your friend if they were in that situation.
Ah, okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Because you're going to be a lot nicer to your friend than you're going to be to yourself.
Exactly.
Yeah, you know, I've heard this.
Yes.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah,
and
yeah.
he was like, that completely flipped the switch in his life and has, you know, impacted him in ways that he wouldn't even have imagined.
Right. No, I can see that.
Yeah.
No, of course. Absolutely.
And I don't do the recordings, but now I do this. Like when the negative self-talk comes, I would go, today's going to be a great day. I just say that. Like I just right away, like stop it dead in the tracks and be like, oh no, today I'm going to have an awesome day today. I just keep saying it until I forget whatever it is.
And that's huge because you're self-aware enough to notice when the negative self-talk happens or when you're getting, because a lot of people.
And it happens often. I'm going to tell you guys, like, it happens. It's crazy how often we berate ourselves.
Bro, it's nuts. If you actually like were to record yourself talking to yourself, and like, it's funny because I do record a lot of, you know, content, and I also edit a lot of content for people, and they send me stuff. And like when they're doing like, let's say a take of a video and they're reading a script, the amount of times like you'll mess up and they just like the things they say to themselves. I was like, holy
no,
man.
I do
like,
the same thing though.
I'm like, bro, chill, man. It's like, it's
idiot.
It's okay.
Oh
yeah.
It's
God
like, damn, bro. I'm just recording.
It's not the end of the world, man. Like it's even for me though, like sometimes I'll catch myself like, whoa, hold on. None of that. It's like what you say is like what you believe and what, you know what I mean? So like words do have powers. So you got to be careful how you address yourself. If you're always beating yourself and be like, oh, you idiot. Oh, you always forget things. Oh, you're always this. You're always that.
And that's what you'll be.
That's what you're going to be. Because you keep telling yourself, oh, well, here's the proof.
Yeah.
It just happened again.
Proof.
Man.
I am an idiot.
I'm clumsy. I'm this, I'm that. And then you keep tripping. You keep that. Because that's all you focus on.
Yeah.
You only pay attention to when you're doing that thing.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
The flipping the negative self-talk, that is
massive. That
is big. And that also will tie back into the semen retention, no fat practice I'm talking about. I felt like when I'm in a state of like, I'm consciously preserving that energy, that negative self-talk doesn't happen as often. There's you reach a spiritual state. I feel like it's crazy. It's crazy. I know it's crazy. But all people listening can say it's crazy, but you've reached like it's like a spiritual cleanse where your higher self is the one that's on the wheel.
You're making decisions from a different place.
Yeah.
It's not so much like, because you realize you have everything you need for survival and for everything, and you're good. That's like a afterthought. That because realistically, it's to like create life.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so
that
it's
desires in us to create life. That's
and
why.
it's a procreate, and it's like, yeah, of course, feels great and all that stuff, but it's, you know what I mean? Like animals come into heat once a year. They do their thing and then they go about their business. You know what I mean? They're just survival mode.
Yeah.
So, you know what I mean? You do get to that place of like clarity and other, it is weird, but also I've noticed like, just even if like you get the urge or like, you're like, you know, if you just set like a 5-minute timer and you go do something like, you know, maybe do the dishes or sweep the floor or bang out like 50 push-ups, whatever it is. If you just put that energy towards something that's going to benefit you or make your environment better or whatever, and you do that all the time, you're rewiring your brain to be like, oh, when I get that urge, I'm just going to put that energy towards something else.
People call it sexual transmutation. You literally take the energy and you shift it in your body. You visualize the energy being shifted. That's what I do, at least. Like I'll feel the energy manifest and I'm like, okay, I'm going to visualize that energy just going up my spine and into my brain. It helps me.
Into
my higher self. Glands. Like, boom, like I'm going to just shoot it up out of the top of my head.
You're
like an antenna.
Disposing of it. You're just
like an antenna. I'm going to take it like it. That energy's there. I'm just like, I feel it. I'm like, all right,
I'm going to
move it.
Yeah. But like if you use that to do other things and you put it towards something, your place is going to be immaculately clean.
Yeah. Because
if you just take like 5 minutes to just like in between breaks, like I'll do that. I'll schedule like 5-minute breaks when I'm working. Like
declutter.
Right. Well, just to like, 5 minutes, like I'll work for 25, 30 minutes, whatever I set a timer for. And then 5 minutes, get up out of my chair and go do something. And then that way, by the end of the day, you've spent like over the course of a day, depending on how many breaks you take, a decent chunk of time cleaning or doing that. Otherwise, you'd be like, oh man, I gotta go.
Setting yourself up for
dishes.
success.
I gotta do this. And you just let it all pile up. And then, yeah, it seems like a big task because you're letting it become this big task instead of just chipping away at it throughout the day.
Yeah.
And then it becomes nothing. You're like, oh, that didn't take as much time as I thought it would.
It's amazing.
Yeah, it's interesting. And then, of course, working out, getting outside, moving your body is a huge part of
spending time in nature, of course, is
what we do. And that's a huge, huge impactful way to just, again, get more in tune with the world around you. Working out outdoors, which we've been doing a lot more. You do it every day. I'm just slowly getting back into that. And it's so much more impactful than going to a gym, being under fluorescent
lights. Did I rant
lights.
about gyms yet?
We did, but that episode isn't coming out because it was
okay. I'll save that rant. I'll save that rant too because I want that rant to I want to save that rant. But like I have a rant for gyms. I'm just saying.
Yeah, we can get in. We can address that on another podcast, like the gym culture and like
I don't like it.
All that. It's just not. It's not conducive to the type of lifestyle.
It's about the bigger picture always.
Well, exactly, and being
it's about
more
the
connected.
Whole picture. It's not just about bigger biceps, bigger chest. How much do you bench? I was just thinking about that the other day.
Bro,
I remember when I started working out, all anyone would ask me is how much I bench.
Which is so dumb.
It's just like...
It's so dumb. Also, it's so...
I'm just shrugging right now.
It's such a specific movement. It's not going to benefit you at all in life.
¿Por qué? Why are you asking me that?
It's dumb. It's so dumb.
You know what I mean?
Where else in life are you going to have a perfectly balanced bar with weights even on each side where you're in it's just not going to happen. It's a very impractical thing.
Yeah.
It's great for building muscle.
It's just, to me, it was like the obsession.
It's stupid.
It was the obsession. People would see you with even a little bit of muscle tone and be like, how much you bench?
So dumb. What? It's irrelevant.
Yeah.
It's irrelevant. But like, anyways, moving our bodies, huge part of like maintaining an optimal physique, but also like energy levels. Right? Like you need to move your body to get rid of stress. For me, it's like a very therapeutic thing. Working out for me is like a great way to de-stress and just get in kind of a flow state.
Clear your mind.
And just feel good about it.
It feels like junk, dude. Every day, every morning.
So good when you move.
Every morning I get to the park and I'm like, I don't want to work out. And then I force myself to do it. I just push through it. I'm like, it's going to be 20 minutes. I push myself through 20 minutes of hell.
Yeah.
And once I'm done and I'm dripping sweat, I'm like, oh, like I can actually think now. Like I couldn't think before. I was thinking so wrong. Now I'm thinking right.
You need it. You need to move your body. You need
to sweat.
You need that release, man. Like
you need to sweat.
It's so important. It's again putting your body through positive stressors. The sauna, the cold plunge, working out, 10,000 steps a day. That's work.
Making yourself do things you don't want to do. And incorporating some element of nature, I think, is like the hack.
Absolutely, getting outside and grounding yourself, huge.
Yeah.
There's just so many little hacks and so many things, but like I think to like bring it all together, you need to have some sort of morning and evening routine.
Yeah.
That'll set up your day, and then
the sandwich.
Exactly. You need to have some sort of morning routine, some sort of evening routine. Limit your time on a phone.
Yeah.
Do hard things, not because you enjoy it, but because
nobody enjoys it. FYI.
You get the benefit from it, and your body gets the benefit from it. Your mind gets the benefit.
You rationally understand. You got to rationally understand that you're going to feel better afterwards because your feelings are irrational.
Oh, 100%.
Your feelings are totally irrational.
So irrational.
So the better you are at like, I'm not saying ignore the feelings, but the better you are at realizing that what you're feeling is not what you want. It's just what you're feeling at that moment.
Right.
Is what's going to drive you further and further along. I think we're over an hour now, right?
Yeah, we're over an hour, but like, we're just wrapping it up. So morning, evening routine, some sort of
journaling, no porn. Please,
that should go without saying these days.
Yeah, come on, guys, get off the porn.
Be better.
Get off the porn. Stop busting nuts. Well, I mean, not totally, but a little bit more consciously. At the very least, bust intentional nuts.
Make it impactful. do it with intention.
Yeah, do it with intention. That's all we're preaching. Just do it with intention. Tune into yourself, connect to nature, and I think that's it, man. I think that's a good wrap.
Yeah,
there's a lot of little nuggets in this episode.
Oh, 100%.
So I'm actually looking forward to this one coming out because it's
gonna be good.
Got some bangers.
It's gonna be good.
Thank you for everyone for tuning in. If you are listening, like, share, subscribe. If you see clips on Instagram, which you'll be seeing soon, share those as well. If you see them on TikTok, share them. If you see them on YouTube, share them. And let everyone know that nature is underrated.
You already know.
Peace.